Greetings, everybody. I'm Larry Williams, the Director of CARMA, the Consortium for the Advancement of Research Methods and Analysis. And it's my pleasure to welcome you to another CARMA Quick Chat. You may know that with the CARMA Quick Chat, we take the opportunity to speak in a quick and informal way with those who are contributing to the events that we offer through CARMA. And today it's my pleasure to be joined by Andreas Schwab from Iowa State University. And Andreas will be giving a CARMA webcast lecture next Friday on January the 26th at noon Eastern Time. And we'll ask him to give a preview of that once we get to the end. But for now, Andreas, welcome. Good to speak with you. Andreas has done several events for CARMA over the years, and we're very excited to have you as a webcast lecturer. So somehow we're already in the middle of January, Andreas. So how was your holiday?
Holiday was good, even though I have to admit returning to -20 temperatures in the Midwest was not quite how I envisioned the start of the semester. But otherwise, I spent my time in Southeast Asia, and there the temperatures were, of course, tropical for the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, it has been rather chilly the past couple of days. Well, you're here because of your work in research methods. And so is there a time or an event that you can identify as a moment in which that blossom of interest in research methods started to emerge?
Well, I would say, like, of course, there was the doctoral program and substantial exposure to research method, and I found them interesting, but I didn't get really involved in them as actively. For me, the big turning point was a symposium that Bill Starbuck organized at the 2005 AOM conference in Hawaii, in which this symposium proposed that the academy journals should all ban the use of statistical significance tests. And as an avid user of statistical significance tests, I definitely had to attend. And it turned out that the arguments were surprisingly convincing. And they led for me to a sequence of symposia and PWs that we organized together with Bill Starbuck on the topic of limitations of statistical significance tests. And then over the years, increasingly, what should and could researchers do instead?
Yeah. Well, since that time, you've been involved in a couple of different areas within the research methods community. Is there a particular topic that you enjoy the most?
Well, for most recently, I've really got drawn deeper and deeper into the idea of that we definitely do need more replication. And also the idea that we might need a different kind of replications in order to really accumulate knowledge across studies, while we're having in the past engaged in replication a lot with regard to refuting claims of other studies. So in that sense, for me, what I'm getting drawn in right now, we're working on an initiative that is trying to organize and get researchers together to do systematic, exact, and constructive replications of a few studies that, in our opinion, really deserve replication. And organizing this is what currently keeps me up at night. And we're hoping to pull something off, some first pilot kind of projects on this during the next summer.
Yeah. Well, for those that don't know, I'm very supportive of this effort, and CARMA is very supportive of this offer, this replication initiative. And we've been excited to be partnering with you on events that we've hosted in the past, as well as those that we're hosting in the future. So during that same amount of time, you've gotten a lot of experience. And I'm always experienced in your research and reviewing. How do you think that you've grown? If you just stop and reflect back on how you were 15 years ago, 20 years ago, when you first started getting more and more involved in the acts of scholarship and writing and reviewing, how do you think you've changed now as a result of the experiences that you've had?
Well, change is always gradual, and thereby it's hard to kind of evaluate and interpret and even recognize. I think, especially during these efforts that we do right now with replication, the one thing that definitely has changed when I look back how I was thinking about research as a doctoral student was that I'm much more humble about what any single empirical study can accomplish. And that I think is an important growth, because it does recognize that we need to do things more collectively. And instead of trying, maybe shooting for this one perfect study that gives a final answer to things, but rather appreciate efforts with regard to studies that close certain doors or add another piece to the puzzle. And I think this kind of collective approach and thinking about research, I find really inspiring and enthusiastic, and something that I didn't see as important when I started out in the field of research in management.
Yeah. If I can put you on the spot with a different question. So you mentioned your interest in null hypothesis significance testing that goes back to 2005. So how would you characterize our community's response to those arguments, and the degree to which alternative perspectives have been integrated or not integrated into our community?
Well, the one thing that clearly immediately pops to mind, Bill's suggestion of at the symposium in 2005 to ban statistical significance testing has not matured or has been adopted. But I would say over the close to 20 years now, the field has changed. So when we initially did the PWs or symposia, you really faced an audience that was really surprised about some of these arguments. I think by now it has really shifted to that people are aware of limitations and aware to a higher degree of them, and they are more eager and open-minded with regard to what else they could do in order to dig deeper. So I think we're seeing what I would, the proposal that Bill had is really a landslide change, but landslide change often requires gradual movements before and preparing the field. So the grassroots movement is there. I'm anticipating that we will see far more substantial moves beyond statistical significance tests, and we will see this in all the top journals. How long this still may take, well, I was very optimistic in 2005 that it wouldn't take 20 years to get there. But I'm feeling now again that this is definitely something I think that's going to happen in the next 5 years. And so I'm seeing this rather, once certain things are established, this can be a landslide change. And I think we're in front of that landslide change.
Yeah. Gosh, just another question that comes to mind that I can't resist. Of course, there's now also this entirely new development related to AI and those types of tools. Do you think that those can facilitate the type of and speed up the type of progress by helping researchers become more aware, making it easier for researchers to do things differently? What do you think?
I think, yes. I think we need a much bigger toolbox, and it's very tempting to have one tool and use it for everything. But in the end, be turned into 5-year-olds with a hammer that see a nail in everything.
Yeah.
And thereby, the toolbox needs to be expanded. The AI and machine learning things are definitely having impact. They have impact with organizations. They show patterns in data that we had not seen before. And that is definitely a valuable thing to exploit. How to do this, how to do this right, how to use it with quality, that's of course more of a learning process. And I would see us as a field at the beginning of that learning process.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, well, as I said at the beginning, we're chatting with you because we eagerly await your webcast next week. Can you tell us a little bit about your presentation and what it's going to focus on?
So my presentation will be, as Larry asked me to present, on Bayesian statistics, Bayesian analysis. And I might actually connect this to the stuff that we've just talked about. This interest in Bayesian analysis for me came out of looking for alternative ways of how we can make sense of our data that we have with regard to interpreting support for hypotheses beyond statistical significance tests. And Bayesian statistics is a fully developed tool, methodology out there that has been used in other fields extensively, that's been around for hundreds of years. And thereby, this developed tool might be valuable for us to consider as an additional tool in our toolbox. So from that sense, it actually connects. I would also say it connects into the AI, but because a lot of the machine learning actually uses Bayesian statistics in order to analyze and update data based on additional data analyzed.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do in the presentation, the one challenge that exists with regard to Bayesian analysis is that it is a fully developed methodology. It is a bit more complex, I would say, than statistical significance testing. And thereby, it will not be possible in the limited time that we have to really train anybody in becoming a Bayesian statistician or a Bayesian researcher. So my attempt with this session that we're going to have is to conceptually introduce what Bayesian is trying to do and where the values are of that, but also where the potential challenges are, so that participants can get a deeper understanding of what Bayesian statistics is all about, and thereby can evaluate and hopefully get interested with regard to exploiting some of these opportunities for their own future research.
Yeah, well, that sounds great, and we'll be very excited to have that kind of an introduction to it. I think many who see this video will know that will have had this experience themselves, or will talk to people who've tried to learn about the Bayesian approach, and it's even getting a handle on that conceptual part of it at the beginning that is problematic. So again, that'll be Friday, January the 26th at noon Eastern time. Andreas Schwab from Iowa State talking about Bayesian analysis. So thanks for sharing your time this afternoon, and we'll look forward to your presentation on the 26th. Thanks, Andreas.
Thanks, Larry. Thanks for having me.